Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to Clayton and Sheila Show. Today, we're going to dive into a topic that most people have some very serious concerns about, and the change in the way the medical world they talk about weight and health. And I think this is a good time to talk about this. And we're looking at the medical exam and stuff that research they did back in 2013. The American Medical Association officially they declare obesity as a disease. Now, I want you to focus on that. They declared obesity as a disease. It really did. And honestly, now, Sheila, I'm glad that you and I talk about this. A lot of people still don't fully understand what that decision was and what did it meant and why does it matter today. Sheila, I'm asking this question to most people. What is AMA?
It's a American Medical Association, and it stands for that, AMA.
What say again?
American Medical Association.
Okay.
And in 2013, like you say, they recognized obesity as a chronic disease. And this is going to change, Clayton, on how doctors treat obesity in their patients and how people talk about it and how insurance can now cover it since they recognize it as a disease.
Mm-hmm. And what population you think it may affect the most? Are there any certain religion, race, or that this obesity?
Personally, I think it's going to affect a lot of women.
Mm-hmm.
We struggle
Mm-hmm.
with obesity, and I think it's going to be a good thing that they recognize it because a lot of people are insecure about being overweight, and
Right.
if it can be treated by the medical providers and insurance cover it,
Mm-hmm.
that's a self-esteem thing for a lot of women.
Well, I totally gonna agree, and there's a huge because when the AMA when they speak, the medical community that's all they believe in and listening to. Their decision influence insurance coverage. Now that is a big thing. Medical school training and even how doctors talk to the patient. And for me, we're looking at a serious matter. And I'm gonna share this with you. I have relatives. I got all kind of people in my family. They're obesity, and again, that sometimes that high blood pressure is hereditary,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a slow killing disease. And I am so glad that you and I are able to talk about this, Sheila, and
Mm-hmm.
talking about the factors and what do you say about that?
I think it's a good decision that the American Medical Association know that it's more than just people just not taking charge of their health and eating, because now it's going to change the way people look at people. Hopefully it will, because
Mhm.
a lot of people look at people on the outside and they don't know what they're experiencing on the inside.
That's true. That is true.
Trauma, they don't know the trauma and the medical conditions that a person may hold. Um, Sometimes the medications and a woman's hormones can cause you to be obese. So people really need to understand people when they are classified as obese, because they don't know the battles that people fight in silence.
Mhm. That's true. And 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 and, I'm so glad that we're talking about this subject because it's the awareness is
Mm-hmm.
that it's a deadly disease. And
Mm-hmm.
when you overweight, like I said, that causes a lot of pressure on other organs and stuff in your body.
Right.
And so, as I said, some people, now let's face the fact, when you have a thyroid or metabolism problem, it ain't because you eat. That's a medical condition. Got to be treated. So most people will look at people and say, well, look, they probably eat a lot, but that may not be the trouble. It may be they just have a thyroid or no metabolism issue.
Right.
And just like you said, Sheila, um, let me ask you this. If it's a little personal, Why did the AMA feel the need to step in? Why did they feel the need to step in?
I think because society looks at abuse as a personal problem, like you're saying, and um, people tend to side eye people, compare
Mm-hmm.
people. It's just heartbreaking what
It
people
is.
go through in silence. You know, you've probably had people go to their providers, and they are dealing with hormonal issues or depression,
Mm-hmm.
menopause,
Mm-hmm.
thyroid issues, um,
Mm-hmm.
and the medications.
Right.
Medications make you gain weight, and
Yeah.
sometimes it can be just emotional overeating from something that you're going through. So um especially hormonal issues, women go through a
Mm-hmm.
lot of hormonal issues, and sometimes you can't control that, just by exercising alone. Sometimes they
Mm-hmm.
need medical intervention to help them deal with what they're going to, and that may take medication or surgeries, and you don't know. So my thing is, we as a society need to stop judging people on how they look.
They're right. I totally agree.
On how they look. You're a fitness coach, and I'm sure you've encountered some women that had some medical problems. They're limited in the exercises and what they can do.
Right.
And but when people look at people on the outside, they always think, wow, that they look terrible, whatever. I've never judged that. And being in the military, being a fitness monitor, I
Mm-hmm.
used to measure the women, and sometimes the women are underweight on the scale, but the BMI makes them obese. So go
Mm-hmm.
figure that out.
Well,
Go figure that
and
out. You can look like a model, and you can still be considered obese.
it's kind of hard for people to program that. How can you be that small and be overweight? And once they understand how science works, I look at this person, man, you need to eat. But according to the BMI, you are
The
overweight.
body measurement index, but everybody's body's different. All of
Right,
us are not shaped alike.
right.
We're
But
not.
I want to say this year, and I want to say it to all the men. In my years of training, I went through all type of nutrition, learned all the major muscle groups, and a lot of men they don't understand. A woman's body is totally different than our body because what the woman body has to go with, and a lot of men don't realize the reason some of the things happen. A woman have two layers of skin, and we only have one layer of skin. And that extra layer of skin the woman have is for childbirth and protection of the baby and stuff like that. So when mostly women, again, until we understand what women go through with, we would always look at them totally different. But everybody's body is different. And like I say, when women go through surgery, they got to go through all these different types of medical exam, or their body is totally different. And so the Bible says, when you look at these women, judge not, and you will not be judged. So when people see women's come in a certain size, they automatically start judging them.
Mhm.
And then they start putting in mind these are risk factors, they're a liability.
Mhm.
So we don't want to go through that. And
I'm
so,
glad you said that, because women are expected to be kind of like everything,
mhm,
strong, soft, nurturing, polished, thin, you know. Um, if we're overconfident, people talk about you, that's another subject, but it's exhausting on how society wants women to fit this mold, you know.
you're
And I
right.
think it's just unfair. It's
It
just
is.
unfair.
And that's the way society them program people to think from early age. They put more pressure on the women than put on the men. But when you really look at it, these men around here, they look like little fat domino. And but then again, why you don't put pressure on them? Because they want women to look a certain way to be accepted
Mhm,
in the society.
mhm.
All women are not the same. All bodies are not the same. Stop
Right.
judging people because of the size of their body. Judge them by the content of their character and
Right.
not by the size of their body.
Right.
And I'm going to say this, and let's not forget the stigma. Too many people were being shamed instead of being supportive.
Mhm.
The AMA wanted to shift the tone from blame to compassion. Wow, so what would that be saying? The arguments of that decision. So what were the benefit of calling obesity a disease, Sheila? I mean, what was the benefit of them?
Well, I think it gets people to be more open now about getting the medical help that they need.
Mm-hmm.
Because, in silence, a lot of women suffer and it's trauma to them. But now,
Yeah.
since they they claimed it as a disease, they can get the medical treatment, the medicine, the surgeries, or anything they need to help them on their journey to with their weight loss or however. And it's that's self-confidence to me. And
Mm-hmm.
people are more apt to seek medical care now and do something about their health, since they know it is classified as a disease. And that, whether that be okay, you're on a good exercise program, you're working with your doctor, and now they know that it may be a hormonal problem
Mm-hmm.
that you're having, or it might not be. But once you go to that doctor, they can kind of put you on that path, maybe send you to a nutritionist or something. But it's all paid for with your medical insurance now. Before, it's not paid for.
Okay, and that's another thing. That is another thing that really upset me. With them cutting back on all these medical care, these people cannot afford it. Some people are going to die as a result of these people's stupidity. They don't understand the cause and the effect. If they don't get medical care, them doctors, they don't get their money, we're going to put you out, you go home, and you just die. And that's not the American way. That's inhumane. And so when we talk about medical coverage, this is also open the door for better insurance coverage and better counseling, medication, and surgery. And it pushes for more researches on this obesity.
Right.
And so, what you would say about that, Sheila?
It does push it for more researchers, because everybody body is different, and
Mm-hmm.
it could be something genetic or whatever. But Jesus never shamed people for their struggles. He saw the
Mm-hmm.
person, not the condition, and that's the model that we need to follow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, especially black women who they face a higher rate. What do you think can be done about that? I mean, this obesity, like I said, is high blood pressure, diabetic, and you know, is it because of being poor that we are prone to these type of disease at a higher rate?
Well, sometimes black communities, I'm going to go here, that
Mm-hmm.
the dollar store, Family Dollar,
Mm-hmm.
those stores are put in black communities, and they don't have healthy choices in those stores.
That's true. Absolutely.
So we need to be cognizant of where we going to buy our food and what we're eating and put it in our bodies. It's a community support that you also need. Also, we need to promote health events. Like, I know you're trying to do a health event there in your gym, and lead with empathy and not shame.
Right. Exactly.
Because when you lead with shame, people don't want to hear it. They're not going to do anything to help themselves. But when you say, hey, I'm here to help you, I'm support you. Hey, did you know that this new change came out, and where you can go to the doctor and get help now? Because
Mhm.
before, a lot of women suffered in silence and they blamed themselves, and that, what that leads to? It leads to depression and overeating again. So you're just making
Right.
matters worse. But
Yeah.
that's why it's important, the health insurance, that you know what you have. And some people pay for it but don't take advantage of all the programs they offer.
And
So
some people can't afford it, and as a result, they're going to suffer. And just like I said, I think if I've been following the news right, I think they're supposed to sign up for the new health care at the end of the month, and the health care them triple, they them double.
It was last month, Clayton.
Oh, okay.
2000 ended last month.
And
And that's where we had to emphasize to people, and I had to emphasize to people like my son. I say, make sure you check your healthcare plan, because just because you had the thing last year, they don't mean it stays the same this year. So a
that's
lot of
right.
people, costs have tripled, doubled,
I
you know,
know.
paying for health insurance because of what's going on with this administration. You really got to be on it, because that's a lot of money that people are paying for health insurance now.
For going up that high within that short period of time. Then you
And
got to worry about your food, your water, your clothing, your shelter. I mean,
right,
three extra $1,000, extra $500 is a lot of money
it's a
to hit
lot
a
of
person at
money.
one time.
It's a lot of money, and the only way um, that you can change your benefits if a significant event happened, whether it be a marriage, a divorce, or a death, or a new baby. That's the
Mm-hmm.
only way you can change it during mid-season. Other than that, you have to wait for a whole year to look at your health care plan.
Isn't there something? And by that time, anything could have been and went down.
Mhm.
I need to share this with the public out there. I feel ashamed that this black lady was in the hospital and she needed a kidney transplant. But anyway, her insurance had expired, and they was putting her in the hospital. And before she died, she said, "This is a shame." And they put me out of the hospital at my worst moment. And a couple of days later, she passed away. So people don't realize is that these healthcare coverage and these dollar stores, there's something we can control, and there's something beyond our ability to control. But what I'm saying that I'm so glad that we are talking about this, because I do a fitness show on my YouTube channel, and to me, it's about promoting the community. But they have to make the first step. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So, and my thing to you, and now let's be fair about it. Not everyone agree with AFA. And Sheila, and I mean, I know it's kind of redundant, but is that true or what? Not everybody agree with them.
I don't think everybody does. A lot of people have their personal struggles, but that's where people judge people for not knowing.
Right.
You don't know what they're going through, and you don't know their family history. You don't know if it's something they inherited. You don't know if
Mhm.
it's a hormonal balance issue. So some people are stuck in their ways on, oh, ain't nothing
True.
wrong with them. And that's what's wrong with society. That's what's we judge people by how they look and
That's
where they
true.
live and what color of their skin. The society has made it worse. So I'm
Hmm.
glad that American Medical Association defined it as that. Hopefully, it's a lot of women in the military that struggle with it. Sometimes, it's shape of your body, whether you're obese or not. Black
Hmm.
women have wider hips.
Right.
So,
That's true.
we're not all the same.
Well, I want to share this with you. And they did a study to see how peoples and how these organizations react. And they didn't realize they were getting set up. They had a black woman, a white woman, and a Mexican woman came in for a job interview. They didn't realize this was staged. The black woman had all the education, all the background. She's been a supervisor. White lady, she came in, she had less experience. And Mexican lady, she had just as much experience as the black woman. Now, to show you, they judged this black woman by the way she looked. And this white lady was much thinner. And this Mexican lady, it just had a little bit more weight on her. And they picked a white person. Is that just way society look at life or what?
I
Why
think
would they hire someone that's less qualified and you judging this person by the size? You're not judging her by the content of her character that she's excellent worker. And I'm quite sure, Sheila, if you've been in the military, you may not experience in your organization. You done saw it.
yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it happen. It's bias, and everybody else knows it happens. And
Mhm.
uh, it's and you're right. You're not in some places you're not judged on your education,
Mm-hmm.
your qualities, your knowledge, your leadership, your talents. You're judged on a lot. A lot of men judge women by how they look.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
You know, so guess what? The person with the doctorate degree and all of that have a hard time getting a job for something. Oh, you may be overqualified. Oh, we chose this person. And society
Mm-hmm.
is
You're
not fair.
right. Society.
It's not fair.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, women have much of a hard time than men, and especially when you break it down to different races. Black women have a struggle throughout generation, and people would never understand how they live, how they survive, but they'll prejudge them, especially when you're going into a large organization. They'll give you a position, but they'll keep you in the back burner. When they have meeting, they rather not bring you out, even though you might be in charge of, but they rather bring someone else out than just to make them look good. I've seen it happen, and I think uh, it's a discrimination type of thing, and some words about over medicalizing weight, and they rely too much on medical or surgery, and
Well, this conversation is bigger than obesity, and I've seen it. You
it
said
is.
it's about humanity. It's about seeing people for who they are, and families for loving them for who they are. But I've seen it. I witnessed it in the military. I've had people that were overweight, and they get waivers,
Mm-hmm.
and have the commanders or other supervisors saying, "Oh, they put that person in a corner,
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
like you treat them differently. You treat them differently, and they say, "Oh, that person got a waiver." They don't need. They talk about you, and they don't even know what your struggles are. But
It-
you're treated differently when you have something wrong with you in the military.
okay, your military career, did you find a lot of this discriminatory for his? I know you saw a lot of bias, but when it come down to as far as we have to do this weight management every year, and sometimes those commanders are way overweight, but they want to enforce the laws on a lower ranking person. And
Yeah,
so
it's like they,
by you being the person that you are, you had to weigh everybody in, and some of them, they go to the hospital, somebody they know that and they get away with. And
well,
then go ahead.
I've seen higher leadership do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but they don't practice what they preach. Not everybody, because you got some commanders that are fit, top shape, and expect their people to be like that. But if a person has a valid medical reason, you just try to work. We try to work with that person. Hey, go to aerobics, do this. You allow that person based on
Yeah,
their waiver,
yeah, yeah, that's true.
to take off sometime an hour extra for the job to go work out. But they got to work out. But fitness and all that, it's a responsibility on the individual, not
That's true.
the organization.
And
But I've seen it where you have obese commanders, and you got supervisors giving people letter of reprimand, letter of counseling for not meeting their weight standard. And it's a standard in the military. They're gonna give you so many chances, and then if you don't meet those um, requirements, you're out the door.
because you didn't meet a weight standard,
Right.
and this BMI, let's talk about what do they consider that BMI? Your
It's a
body weight.
body index, and I don't know if they changed the requirements, but what I used to do, I would measure their neck, the smallest part of your waist, and your hips. And like I say, Black women have larger
Mm-hmm.
hips.
Mm-hmm.
And then I use the formula that tells you what the BMI is,
Mm-hmm.
for that person.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's different. You do your neck, your
Yeah, and
small
so
waist.
is that BMI, they different than the men's, isn't
Yes, yes. I don't know what the men's formula is, but I knew what the women's formula was. And like I say, sometimes they can their BMI, it could show them as obese, but when you get on the scale, you're underweight according to American standards. I think the BMI thing needs to be all redone. Basically, they want everybody to look like a starving model, and that's not gonna happen.
No, and just like I said, everybody's body is different.
Right.
Like I said, you see these big guys, man, they all muscular. They consider them being overweight. But
sometimes it's the metabolism thing.
You're right, exactly.
You know, right. we have babies. You know, our bodies are not the same after you have a child. You have to work extra hard to get back into shape. You know, but the longer you wait, the worse it is on you to get back in shape. So I've been through that. You know, running around the track with a stroller just to get back in shape. You know, after you have a baby. So back when I was in, they didn't give you time to get in. They gave you less than 30 days. Now they give you 6 months, you know, but
I still say that a woman's body is totally different than a man. The healing process after childbearing and the after effect after childbearing. And so the reason why I'm talking on behalf of the women, because my mother had total 13 kids. And as far as obesity, it ran in her family. And then it's still running in our family. So again, I'm not judging no one because you'll be eventually being judged yourself. Now, Sheila, I just not to cut the conversation, but what has changed since 2013? You know, there's been a decision being made since that time.
Well, the only thing I know that's changed is the medical society. They studied it, and they finally admitted that one shoe don't fit all. You know.
I got you.
And even though they recognize it, obesity as a disease, that don't mean that everybody fit in that category. You know what I'm saying? You can go to the doctor.
It's much easier for people to program the part of it.
Yeah, don't think in your mind that, oh, you know, I got a disease. But I think why they approved it is to get people to get help. You know, to say, okay, you're not alone in this. Let's see what we got going on and do more tests to see if there is something going on with your body. You know? And I think that's a good thing, because I think personally, when you go to a physical at a doctor, it's not really a physical anymore. It's like they asking you how you feel, you know, and you got to tell them what test you need ran. So,
now, you think the doctor need doctors? You think the doctors that ask questions just to spend time with? You think they spend more time with certain race, religion, sex, and nationality?
I can't say it, but I know times have changed.
Right.
And sometimes you spend 5 minutes with a doctor. Some doctors I spent 20 minutes with. So some doctors you go to, they know your whole history because they did their research before you got there. Some doctors, when you get in there, they act like they ain't read your records and say, what's going on? So, you know, when I get that kind of question, what's going on? I'm like, no, time to change my provider, because I don't think I really like that when somebody don't read my history.
You know, as I said, I sympathize with women, and this is something that I hope to make the community awareness. The reason why I say a man's body is different than a woman's body. A man's body fat is between 12 to 17. A woman's body fat is between 17 to 21. And so there's a reason behind that. And most people need to understand, you're putting all this pressure on these women. Let's look at what their body have to deal with versus yours. It's much easier for on the outside to make judgment. And I just want to throw that out there, because most people would never understand that why is women body fat much higher. There is a reason for it. Instead of judging people, you need to find out why. And so, and we have more conversation about stigma and bias and compassion, which is well overdue. Now, let's talk about faith and community, Lynn. Sheila? What did that have to do? How can that help?
They can kind of support, like you do offer, exercise classes, or even education. You
Mm-hmm.
know, get some providers that that may volunteer and do some health fair events, to
Mm-hmm.
not just health fair events and just pass out flyers. I'm talking about healthcare events to educate educate the community on the new things that are coming out, what's going on, what are they finding, just especially like for cancer and stuff like that, and then start taking care of your body and making healthy choices. So I think the community, those leaders, those church leaders need to get more into health education, talking to their congregation. What you're trying to do is bring people to your gym to
Mm-hmm.
start a healthy program. Once you start exercising and you see results, you start doing more things to control your body and what goes in your body. Because once you start that and get in that mood, just I'm speaking from experience, you start feeling good when you see results, and you say, I'm gonna keep going.
Exactly.
Because it
Exactly.
just don't happen overnight, but you have to really have your family support you, your spouses and your friends support you, and every little accomplishment you make, celebrate.
Right. And
Um,
and sometimes Sheila, not to intervene, but when someone keep inspiring you, continue to compliment you, girl, look how you look. That's going to cause you to want to do it more,
mhm,
because you don't need anybody to be around you in the same category that's going to be putting you down.
right.
You need somebody going to pick you up. Hey, girl, look, I'm so glad to see you at the gym. I wish I can do it, but what's holding you up then if you wish you can do it?
Yeah, but
Whatever.
women can get together, like my girlfriends, let's go line dancing, let's go double dutch,
Excellent. Mm-hmm.
So you hang around people that encourage you and support you, and that'll make you feel a lot
That's
better.
true.
You
That is
You have to
definitely
be
true.
hard. Like, don't you eat that candy bar in front of me? And
Right.
what, but if you're friends, they can understand where you're coming from. And they gonna get mad, but I'm like, all that work you just put in, and you gonna sit here and eat a candy bar in front of me?
Right.
So
Well, look, I'm not getting off stage, but let me tell you, I've been teaching fitness for many years. And every time I came down to Louisiana, my sister and them had all these women to meet at her house. And I was sort of like the guest speaker. I was going to be the one that came there and talked to me about nutrition. So I came down one Friday to visit my mother, and she said, look, I got a lot of people over here at my house, and they want to talk to you about nutrition, how they can lose weight. So I said to them and said, all right, cool. I goes over there, even doing, I hope they ain't listening, even doing warm up, I ain't even got the stretching out. Ooh, boy, this is just too much for me. Now let me tell you something. Let me tell you the kicker part about it. So they said, afterward, we want to show you our appreciation. All right, cool. Guess where they had us to meet at? Golden Corral. They had this tables already set up for 20 people. Sheila, oh no, don't make me talk about these people. All of them went up there and got 2 or 3 plates of food. But guess what they got to drink? A diet soda. And I'm sitting there, okay, you can go ahead and talk to us while we eat. And I'm saying, this ain't, I don't know. Look, I like to make one trip. I don't like to keep going. This is how many places they were putting up.
but you
And
should
then afterwards, I gave a comment.
Clayton, you should have said, hey, all that effort you just put in, I'm just telling you, you're gonna go here and defeat one.
But I did tell them one thing. This is not the place to hang out if you want to lose weight. Because sometimes the more you see, the more you want to eat. So make a long story short, they didn't invite me back no more. So I do feel
I don't think it's you. I think that's why I don't do buffets.
Yeah, I know.
Eyes bigger than your stomach, and you just you play. Oh, that look good, and you don't normally eat that.
Right.
You go in there and say, "I'm gonna get me a nice salad," and then you see all this other food, and be like,
that's true.
But buffets can be dangerous if you're trying to control your weight and change your eating habits.
And again, all these cookouts could be very dangerous, especially in the summertime. You're already dealing with health issues about high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and everything else that go along with it. And I want to say this, and Sheila, you're absolutely correct. Your health is a journey. It's not a label. And compassion goes a long ways. When you understand what people are going through, not to put them down, you need to inspire them, you need to upgrade them. And Sheila, I need to, before you go into your closing, I need people to understand something right now. I've been into health for many years, and this is the book that's getting ready to come out. Stronger Than Ever. It's got everything to deal with from race, religion, your health, anything you want to talk about, family lifestyle, who is affected. It took me a long time to write this book, and this is a book that everyone must get. So I want you to know, along with me teaching classes, we got my co-host, Sheila. We're going to continue to promote health and well-being. And I also want y'all to know, and Sheila, please, I want you to be able to tell them that you have two hats. Tell them about your breast cancer a little bit.
Well, my family has suffered through 4 generations of breast cancer, unfortunately, and it's really impacted on our mindset on how we live and what we do for each other in the community. So my sister has founded, she's a breast cancer survivor, Catch the Promise. It's a nonprofit breast cancer organization, and our main goal is to support underserved communities and educate them on health and knowing your body and knowing your family history and going to the doctor, not just a doctor you like, the right doctor. So we have, I'm the Delaware ambassador. My sister, the founder, she's in Virginia area, and my niece is also a survivor. She was diagnosed at like 23 years old in the Army. She's in the Georgia area. So we're trying to spread the word and educate as many women as we can. And we're still looking for team support, who want to be part of our team on the East Coast. So we're serious about what we do. We not only help the families, the person going through, we help their children and their family also.
I read a lot about you on your channel. And how would these people, these one that's listening, how would they get hold to y'all? I mean, there's a website.
Yes, www.catchthepromise.org or catchthepromise.org.
Now, do you think why is it such an important thing for women right now to understand the importance of, breast cancer? Most times they just think it's just women, but it's men. But just a brief summary as to why it is such an important for early development, early detection.
It can save your life. That's why we educate, because what I'm finding is from my research, it's a lot of young people that are passing away from breast cancer and cancer itself. Wow. When it gets to stage 4, you have to listen to your body. You have to know your family history. If something is not right on your body, a lump, a pain, or something that's not normal, don't wait to go to the doctor. Go to the doctor. Some people don't like going to the doctor.
That's true.
If you don't know your family history, you don't know what to tell the doctor to test you for.
That's true. That is
a lot of men that we are finding out that are passing the genetic gene to their daughter.
I want you men to hear that. In my mind, men don't get breast cancer.
A man can get it. It can be passed from their mother or their father. A lot of fathers are passing the gene to their daughters. That's what we're seeing. So
I sort of get it. Can obesity be tied into this?
Yes. That's why it's important to go to the doctor to get the right tests done and to eat a healthy diet, because today these food that they put so many chemicals in, It's not good for you.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
true.
you really got to be in charge of your own health, and you have to be an advocate for your body. You have
Hmm.
to be your own advocate because it's bias out there in the healthcare world.
You're right. That's
You don't
right.
fight for what your health would feel healthy. Um, getting the treatments that you need or getting the don't just let anybody tell you anything. If you're not comfortable for what that doctor is telling you, or they're not doing the right blood work and testing on you,
Hmm.
find you another doctor.
Hmm.
That's why health care is so important, and in your open season, and finding you a provider that word of mouth that that is good, is going to take time to listen to you and do the right test.
Hmm.
Sometimes
Well,
I've known, like my sister, for example, a second opinion saved her life.
wow. See, again, they always say, "Hey, you can't go by what these doctors say because some of them just say they don't have no experiences." And when you go to a second doctor, you find out that what the first doctor said, you know what, it's totally opposite.
Mhm.
So I look at it as obesity and talk about breast cancer. Oh, I just saw something. Would you like to talk about? Don't you have a fashion show for the elderly that's going on? It's just so many things you deal with.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm putting on that first fashion show in Delaware on February the 28th, celebrating life, celebrating their life, breast cancer overcomers,
Oh, wow.
caretakers, and the families affected. So we're all excited about it. Delaware has never had nothing that big of that nature. So all the ladies are excited to come out and bring their families and friends, and it's all in support of breast cancer and breast cancer education and
Mhm.
breast cancer overcomers who are going. We are all celebrating our lives together.
Okay, now for those individuals that's in the Delaware in that area, how do they get hold to this fashion show? I
They
mean,
can contact me since I'm the organizer. I'm at
okay,
Sheila at catchthepromise.org. Sheila, Sheila at catchthepromise.org.
wow, and so wow, there's gonna be all types of people there and
Yeah,
celebrating as far as
yeah,
breast cancer
all
and
coming
this.
together.
And is there a special attire or no?
Well, we can sprinkle some pink in there, but we're just a fashion show, so bring it on. Bring
Okay,
your
all right,
whatever makes you feel good. We
that's it.
celebrate.
That's it.
Mhm.
Okay, well, Sheila, I mean, I'm thinking pretty much. I think we done discovered a serious topic, and I think we need to discuss these things more, especially these obesity. How does it affect women, especially minority women? These are the kind of subjects that people need to hear about because sometimes people are going through that experiences, and if they hear it, they say, "Wow, I'm not out here alone."
Mhm.
And so, if you want to, you do the closing, certainly, I think you and I develop a powerhouse by
Mhm.
discussing these kind of issues.
Well, I think personally that it's more than obesity. This discussion is more than
Hmm.
it's about humanity. Like I said, it's about seeing people for who they are and meeting them where they need to be met at, loving them as well. Because some families I've seen, sometimes people talk about people in their family and they don't know what they're going through. So I think we just need to have more open discussions about it. And I'm
Hmm.
happy with the American Medical Association because there are a lot of people now that are taking advantage of these weight loss.
That's true.
Medications.
Do you think? I mean, that's a cheap way out. A lot of the stuff that they're selling, and people are looking for a quick way out. And
Well, I
even
think it
though,
depends on the individual.
yes, I got you.
Some people may be using it as a cheap way out, but I think it depends on the individual because my thing is knowing some diabetics in my family.
Hmm.
Um, Sometimes getting their medication, it can be a challenge, and I,
Hmm.
I right there, I feel that that medication should be fenced for those who actually need that medication.
Hmm.
Diabetics, and it shouldn't be any shortages because of people using it as a weight loss drug.
Right, and I understand
Sometimes
that.
the medical, it becomes a business at sometimes. So
That's true. That's the bottom line of it. This stuff they call it Giuseppe or whatever.
Ozempic,
Everybody's taking that, And all of a sudden, they just came on the news yesterday. People need to stop taking it because it's causing a lot of people side effects. They like to say everybody's body is different. And so I like to say that to all the audience and the viewers out there, if this conversation helped you, you share it with someone else who need to hear it. And send this other question for future discussion. Because we are out here serving the community. It's not what you can do for us, it's what we can do for you. And Sheila?
This has been a powerful conversation, Clayton, and thank you for us having this discussion. Understanding, AMA's decision to help people like me and you understand everything that's going around, it gives us more grace.
Okay.
So,
all right, Sheila. Well, again, I'm going to close out by saying it's been a pleasure, it was a privilege. And I think our next episode, people want to join us. I think that'd be good because it's about real talk. But may God bless all of our listeners. And Sheila, thank you for enlightening us on these different cases as being a woman and being a man. It's about sharing because we care.
Yes.
And so until next time, may God bless all of you and your family, relatives, children, and friends. And Sheila, it's been a plum pleasing pleasure. Well, it was a privilege. Take care of yourself.
All right. Thank you.
Bye now.